All right. Oh, yeah. Yep. It's 6:30. We're going to go ahead and call the regular meeting of the Common Council of the City of Viroqua.
Emma.
So, oh, should we wait for Emma? Emma, go ahead and call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Seth,
Here.
Andrew,
Here.
Todd Kirking,
Here.
Emma. Here. Todd Spade,
Here.
Cindy. Here. John will not be here. Crystal. Here. Steve.
Here.
And Justin will not be here.
All right. Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, can we get approval of the February 11th, 2025 regular council minutes?
This is Todd. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
This is Seth. I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any council announcements? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to.
I got two. Just want to give a shout out to everybody that came to the Eagles for the cancer benefit this last Sunday. We raised a lot of money again this year, going to Gunderson right here in Viroqua, which is huge, for cancer research. And then second one is, rest in peace to K9 Robbie, passed away just recently. So I know the hearts and prayers go out to the Viroqua PD, and the Lemire family.
So
Our
those who didn't
K9.
catch it, K9 Robbie passed away, our former K9 officer. Anything else you want to add to that, Chief or Chief? Okay, awesome.
Thank you, AJ. All right. I'm not sure. Was he 9, 10, something like that? 10, yes. All right. Moving on to first period for public comment. If you have a public comment, you can come up to the podium, state your name, your address, and we ask that you keep it to 3 minutes or less.
Good evening. My name's Eric Gunnacker. I have a farm over in Reedstown, and I think I was here a couple of years ago talking about this subject that I'm going to talk about again. And it's kind of been a wild time in the federal government here in the last month and a half, and they really whitewashed climate change, taking it out all the documentation out of the websites, basically eliminated it from all the grants. And I write and have won many a grant with the USDA, EPA, and National Science Foundation, and some grants when Wisconsin used to have grants, R&D grants. So anyway, I'd like to talk to you about climate change. I'm sure you've heard about it and you thought about it and you say, well, what can I do about, how can I contribute to climate change? How can I circumvent what's going on? And, there's a number of ways you can do that. You can buy an EV and pay $60,000 or solar panels, or buy an LED light bulb, which is a requirement. I don't think you even get incandescents anymore. One of the things that I've been involved with is putting together food waste recycle programs for cities and compost programs. In fact, 2 years ago, I wrote a proposal for the city of Reedstown, Kickapoo, and Soldiers Grove to implement a food waste recycle program and compost system. It was a USDA grant. I didn't win, but I still have the grant. It was quite a big effort, like 100 hours on the proposal, and I didn't charge Reedstown anything. I wrote it because I thought it's a good thing to do. Um, my farm, we've developed a new compost process. It's called enhanced composting, where we can compost in less than 30 days. But we need input to compost, and that brings in the food waste. We're presently using Wild Rose calf manure bedding, and we use that because there's availability. There's a lot of it, and but we're looking at food waste to help cities set up programs to do food waste recycle. I worked with the city of Minneapolis for the last couple of years, and they've got an established program started in 2013, and they got about a little bit more than half the city, half the households participating in the program. And I know really a lot about it because Kelly Kish is the organic coordinator from Minneapolis, and we're probably in contact once a month. So what I'd like to do is poll the community of Baroka to see what kind of interest there's in food waste recycle. And hopefully, with the help of Monica back there, set up a meeting similar to what you guys had about a week ago with the town hall meeting concerning the future items people would be interested in Morocco. Well, we'd set up a similar type meeting and invite people to come in and voice their opinions and their suggestions on food waste recycle, just to see what kind of enthusiasm. Now, based on being involved with that kind of an effort with other cities, people are pretty enthusiastic about it. Food waste recycle is something that people can do with no money. All they have to do is take the food waste, instead of throwing it in the garbage, they put it in a separate compostable bag container. And then that's picked up, and either it's picked up as a curbside service, or they take it to a drop-off point. And typically cities, when they start with a food waste recycle program, that's what they do. They establish drop-off points, and then they get more and more people involved, and they get involved with curbside. There's costs involved, and I've been looking at that. Since there aren't federal grants available which will help cities do this anymore, climate change is off the table. Cities got to go by themselves on this. Now, you might think it's a big effort. In fact, the food waste recycle isn't that big of an effort. Mainly it's informing the people of the community how to do food waste recycle, what they need to do. And then picking up the food waste. So,
Thank you.
okay,
You've eclipsed the
I
3 minutes.
exceeded my time.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other public comments? Anybody online?
Steve, doesn't look like anybody online would like to make a public comment, so I think you're good.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 5, reappointment of Carson LaBelle and Sarah Mayer to the library board for a 3-year term expiring 4/30/2028.
So Sarah's here today. Do you want to, as long as you're here, do you want to tell us a little bit about your role on the library board thus far and maybe why you're interested in being for another 3 years? Sarah, yeah, we just have one of our council members in the public that need the microphone.
Sorry, we had a.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sarah Mayer, and I've been on the library board for something over 10 years. Started as a member, and then when the prior treasurer retired, took over that role pretty soon after I joined the board. And I've been the treasurer since then. I enjoy being part of the board. I think that the library, I've been on it through building the new library and the incredible increase in programming that the library has been doing. And of course, this is, you know, largely, almost exclusively Trina's efforts and her roles in this community. And so I'd like to continue as treasurer and as a member of the board. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? No?
And then I don't see Carson in the crowd, but Carson's been on. Help me out, Cindy. How long has he been on the board?
This might be his only 3 years. He hasn't been on that long.
Yeah, I think he's only been on
Yeah.
3 years.
And so he sits on several committees within subcommittees of the library board. I don't know if there's anything else you can tell about.
Oh, he's
Right.
usually sitting in the back. So I'm surprised he's not here today. Yeah.
Yep. So.
Yeah, I'd make a motion that we reappoint Carson LaBelle and Sarah Mayer to the library for a 3-year term, expiring 4/30/28.
And this is Crystal. I'll second.
All right, having a motion and a second. We're looking, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to number 6, review and approval of pay request number 4 for the 2024 sewer project from Public Works.
It doesn't matter who does it. Okay, do you know that your screen that you're sharing online is not that screen that's up there?
That would be helpful to know that, but no, I did not.
I tried to tell you a couple different ways.
Oh, it's just a random file screen. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, if you would be so kind to rotate it. There. Okay, this is pay request number 4, which you may notice typically we wait every other council meeting, so once a month we approve these, but given that we were having success getting our funds reimbursed from EPA, we figured we'd get everything that has been expended to date. This is because we had a very short Public Works meeting. There was one item that for shoring that would be a change order, and because of just how the procedural time frame, we just figured we'd just keep it simple. So really there's nothing particularly notable in this pay request, which was for $60,960.48. We did have an area, it's the same thing, we saw the same issue in the storm sewer crossing Chicago Avenue for the sewer crossing Chicago Avenue, and it was just the shoulder of the road having some poor material in it. So there was more hauled in material than expected. It was about $3,000, which is within our contingency funds. And that's about it. Happy to answer questions.
I make a motion, we approve the pay request for number 4, pay request number 4 for 2024 sewer project. Too many 4s.
And this is Crystal. I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, and we'll do a roll call vote.
Todd Spaeth,
Aye.
Cindy,
Aye.
Crystal. Aye. Steve,
Aye.
Seth,
Aye.
Andrew,
Aye.
Todd Kirking,
Aye.
and Emma.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Moving on to number 7, update on Eckert Park Playground Project and possible action regarding Leather and Associates agreement from Park and Rec. All right, might have to turn on that one. Did not know.
So this was brought to the Park and Rec Committee earlier today. Just giving you a little brief overview of where we stand with the Eckhart Playground. If you guys remember correctly, we signed the contract with Leathers back in September, and we started design with Leathers September 24th. And then, thank you. It took about 4 weeks to get the first drawing, 2D drawing of the playground. Sorry, I do not have that on the board. So then me and Kim and the leadership committee continued to give feedback to Leathers. Some good, some bad. Just working together was not the easiest with them. Our final design meeting with Leathers was January 10th. We didn't receive the final 2D drawing until February 11th. So 4 weeks to do 2D drawing. And so we still haven't got to the final 3D. So our recommendation to you guys as a board would be to opt out of the Leathers contract and explore different options with different playgrounds. Some of the leadership concerns, again, are the timelines working with them. It has, like I said, it hasn't been easy back and forth. They're out of Florida, we're up in Wisconsin, so the communication has not been the best. The transparent cost, we've asked them to provide us with different costs on the program. They always seem to lump sum it together and say it's roughly going to cost this much. And we as a leadership team wanted to see more transparent cost. The big overwhelming one for me is the community build. Again, being in a smaller community, we just, as a leadership team, don't feel like we have that capability like they did 20 years ago with the Lions clubs and the Rotary clubs. They're recommending a 7-day build or a seven-day build site. Takes 7 days to build it, 3 shifts per day with 200 workers per shift. And that's 100 to 150 skilled workers, and then another 100 to 150 unskilled workers. Todd sits on our leadership committee. We know we could probably get the unskilled workers. It's the skilled workers that really, like, we feel like we can't get. So the volunteer hours and then the tool supplies, what they ask for is a lot. Tents, storage capabilities, saws, circular saws, like, we're not talking about 5 or 6 saws that we need to get. We need to get like 50 saws from people. So that's a concern. And then just the overall design, the playground accessibility of the thing. As a leadership team, we're looking for more inclusive. And on the 2D drawing, in my opinion, I don't see that as much. And then the ease of maintenance. We know what that playground is right now. When something goes wrong, it takes a while to fix it. So if we build something like that, I feel like the maintenance is still going to be there. So those are my concerns. And now Kim's here, if she wants to talk, or Steve's on our meeting too, or our committee too.
Kim, do you have anything? Sure. Yeah, I think it would also be nice to have a different maybe design with the price broken out so we can see how much maybe a different playground would cost. Because right now it is kind of, they give you the lump sum and then here it is, but you don't know if you take away this element, if it changes the price at all, because we don't know how much those elements cost, where different companies have them broken out by apparatus. Yeah, I think the Park and Rec Committee recommended that we open it up to some other companies, and then I think Kale said he has 4 or 5 to reach out to. So, and we've already actually, Angie, who's on our leadership team, reached out to another company, gave them kind of a rough size of our park that we're looking for, and 10 days, less than 10 days, I think, got a full rendering back and cost breakdown. So there are other avenues, I guess. I guess that's all. I had.
And I maybe had missed it during, did you say, Kim, that they are still using hand-drawn plans and that it's all sketch, not even?
It is all done by hand, which, you know,
Yeah.
like that's how I would have done it back in the old ages, but not
It's
not
been
now.
30 years
And
since
everything
that was-
takes long. And and they say it's going to be done, and I set up a meeting, and then, oh, we're not going to be done, and those kind of things. But as much as that, and the number of volunteers, and the transparency on cost, because they gave us a cost for what the whole project would be, but it doesn't include the costs of renting an office space for them on site and a computer, and it doesn't include the supplies that are usable supplies, masks, all those things. It doesn't include any of those costs. Trailers to store the equipment. It doesn't include a lot of things, and we're already at, and so we'd have to reduce some of that. And like I said, I think we can do better for our community by looking at some other groups.
Has there been any money exchanged for design fees with this company yet? And that's not redeemable, I'm sure.
You want to answer that one?
Yeah, so up to this date, we've actually paid about $5,800, close to $6,000. Typically, when you're working with a designer and you go your separate raise halfway through the design process, you're responsible for paying the work that has been provided up until that point. So while we've paid $6,000, we've probably also incurred another, and this is just a forecast, and in talking with Kale briefly today, is probably another $15,000 on top of that, but without speaking to them about what they've actually done. And again, even within their design proposal, things aren't broken out nearly as much as I would like. That's a conversation to be had with them if the city moves away from them. We didn't reach out to them ahead of time because frankly, even if they charged us another $30,000, which I don't think they have the grounds to do, him and I, based on the recommendations from the leadership committee, would still feel strongly about moving away from them, because $35,000 is the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what we could spend with them and how bad things could go if we continue to stay this course. So anything else?
No, I was just looking at that.
And so just historically for those, because I know we have new, this project has been underway for a good long while. Like we've been talking about this for a while, since maybe 2022. I think Steve had just started at that point. Certainly Crystal was here, but AJ, Emma, Todd weren't members of the board. I don't even think Todd Spaeth was a member of the board at that point. We went with Leathers because we really liked the type of playground they produced. They're the same designer who did the playground that's currently there. They produce these sort of wood, or now it's like wood composite style playgrounds that are much more about imaginative play. They're true play structures versus jungle gyms, right? These metal aluminum structures that are more about, you can't get lost in them nearly as much as a child. There's not as much imaginative play possibilities. And so we were really trying to honor what is there. But I don't think the council made a decision to go with Leathers based on their experience, track record, all that other stuff. We weren't in love with them. We were in love with the type of playgrounds they produced. That's my recollection, at least. Cindy helped me out, Crystal, who were on Steve, who were on the board at that time. And so I bring this up because if we go another route with a different vendor, it's very unlikely that we can replicate that type of playground. And that was something that I think was a salient or a popular sort of position with members of our community. I feel like the council was all very keen on trying to maintain the same type of playground because it's very beloved. But I don't know if we can make that happen anymore if we move away from Leathers. And I'm not saying that should prevent us from it, because I'm in agreement that it's time to cut bait. It's just, I want the council to be cognizant of of what they'll have to sacrifice by moving in a different direction. Is there's probably going to be some grief from the public on this because we can no longer replicate what's there. Maybe we get lucky, maybe Kale finds one of these vendors. I don't want to make false hopes who can get us somewhat close, but it's just not going to be the same. So I just wanted to throw that out there so that before you made the decision to move away, you kind of understood the in my mind, the biggest downside of moving away from them.
This is Crystal. I just had one question, and that's contractually, the grounds are there and they're clear enough that we can move out of that?
I reviewed the agreement today, and the agreement is fairly simple and does not have any language that either prescribe, or let me see how to say this. It neither defines how an early termination would work, nor does it say you can't. It just simply says, these are the services we'll provide. You pay us this amount of money for it. End of day. So I think under those grounds, coming to a fair and amicable separation is probably in everybody's best interest. And I don't think they have any more grounds to say we can't do that than for us to say, well, it doesn't say we, or you know what I'm saying? Like neither of us have a position to make an argument, which means let's just separate.
Well, and like Angie's comment earlier, it's almost like they've made choices in a direction that they don't want to even continue with this project with the headaches that they've added to it. So yeah, definitely needs to be moved on from. Do we need a motion on that? This is Seth. I make a motion that we move to end our design agreement with Leathers and Associates for the Eckhart Playground project.
Todd will second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? All right, not hearing any, we'll go ahead and take
I guess,
all in favor.
well, I was just gonna say, before we have an absolute finalizing of that, should we get a statement from them on what it's gonna be, or we're good just to get out of it?
Yeah, Kim's got something to say before she steps in. It's a good question. Again, my forecast is that we probably spend another 15,000 on top of the 6. You
I
could
just, if,
would it change your motion if I said we have to pay $36,000 and we're not getting much for it, or would you still be in favor of cutting ties?
and I'm still in favor of cutting ties. I just didn't know if we needed to put a not to exceed. Like we have said, all right, let's cut ties. Well, we make that call and they say, well, you owe us half the full production and you owe us $135,000. Well, then, and I know we don't expect that, but I guess whether or not I need to amend my motion to say that we won't exceed the preliminary $36,000.
I think if that would have happened, you can come back at a future meeting
Okay.
to do that.
Sorry.
Yeah,
muddy it
I
then.
think typically as the administrator, if a unexpected outcome comes out of the decision made that nobody on the council considered when making their motion, I would bring it back and just say, I know you guys made this motion, but you weren't aware of this fact when you did it. Please reaffirm this. And that's part of, I guess, what people like Kale and I do is sort of, I don't think they would have made the decision, have that in your head. I don't think they would have made the decision fully if they would have known that was. part of
Sounds
it.
good.
I was just going to say that committee, and I know especially Angie and I feel very, very strongly about, yes, we hate to see any money go after it. And, myself as, a steward of other public money, and I understand that. And I firmly believe, though, that if we go forward and get another, I think a year after that new playground is built, it will be just as beloved as the old playground once kids have an opportunity to play. And we still want to do as much as we can to go with those kind of themes. But this is not the people to build our playground successfully with.
All right, still a motion on the table, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. I guess we're skipping or tabling 8, is this correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Keller didn't get the materials with me on time, and the chief and the mayor are both indisposed, so we'll go ahead and table number 8 if that's okay with the council.
Seems to be okay. And then moving on to number 9, payment of the bills.
Okay, these went before finance tonight and they were all forwarded with their approval. And if anybody has any questions, I can elaborate on them. Otherwise, they were forwarded from finance.
Make a motion, we pay the bills.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we're looking for a roll call vote.
Cindy,
Aye.
Crystal,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Seth,
Aye.
Andrew,
Aye.
Todd Kirking,
Aye.
Emma,
Aye.
and Todd Spath.
Aye.
Thank you. And moving on to number 10, possible closed session per Wisconsin statute 19.851E, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, easement agreement with A1 Self-Storage of Viroqua, Inc. Comes from Public Works.
This is Crystal. I'd move that we go into closed session.
Cindy, I'll second.
Roll call?
Crystal,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Seth,
Aye.
Andrew,
Aye.
Todd Kirking,
Aye.
Emma,
Aye.
Todd Spath,
Aye.
and Cindy.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
We are, nobody's back in online. Looks like none of our public have returned. So we're back in open session. Yeah, I'll
All right, so on to agenda 11, reconvene in open session with possible action on items discussed during closed session.
I make a motion, we approve what was discussed in closed session.
Todd, I'll second it.
So motion by Cindy, second by Todd. Is this a voice vote?
Roll call.
That's a roll call vote.
Seth,
Aye.
Andrew,
Aye.
Todd Kirking,
Aye.
Emma,
Aye.
Todd Spath,
Aye.
Cindy,
Aye.
Crystal,
Aye.
and Steve.
Aye. All right. Agenda item 12, second period for public comment. If you have a comment, please come up and tell us who you are, your address, and please keep to 3 minutes or less.
Hi, I'm Monica Matos. I live over on East Avenue. And I just wanted to share with the council a bit about myself and the town hall meeting that I helped to organize this past weekend. I moved to Viroqua just over a year ago from the Twin Cities, where I'm still involved with a group of visionary people who are actively reimagining what a harmonious society might look like. The main topics we explore are alternative economics and equity as related to the foundations of common law. Shortly after arriving in Viroqua, I was introduced to social threefolding, Rudolf Steiner's framework for a healthy, balanced society. According to his insights, the three main capacities of human beings are thinking, feeling, and willing. And every society reflects that threefold nature in the three main parts of the social body: the political or rights sphere, the cultural sphere, which includes anything that involves artistic expression, spiritual growth, and intellectual exploration, and the economic sphere, the purpose of which he describes as providing for the material needs of individuals and the community through cooperation, mutual aid, and reciprocity. Without having to worry about survival, humans are free to develop their unique gifts and higher capacities, which benefits the entire community. After having envisioned principles like these for a couple of years in my Twin Cities group, discovering an economic framework built on a foundation of higher ideals confirmed that I had landed in the right place. I joined the three-folding study group led by Robert Karbelnikoff, who has been studying three-folding for 40 years, and he was the one who facilitated the town hall. Robert co-founded Threefold Driftless with Seth Jordan, a frequent visitor of Viroqua who has 20 years of study under his belt. I loved their annual workshop last winter, so when Robert asked for assistance to include a depolarizing workshop and a town hall meeting as part of this year's event, I wholeheartedly agreed. We were delighted with the turnout. About 35 people showed up for the Braver Angels Depolarizing Ourselves workshop on Friday night, and about 85 people showed for the town hall meeting, and we were thrilled to have Mayor Running attend as well. We had a steady flow of insightful, creative comments that shared concerns, visions, and love for Viroqua. We recorded the event to play on WDRT and are compiling the comments, which we are happy to share with you if you're interested, and anyone else who's interested. Concerns included things like the dominance of government economics over cultural needs, censorship of free speech in the community, and a lack of resident engagement with city leadership. There were many visions shared for deepening connection and better meeting community needs like land trusts, potlucks, and paths for biking and walking. A couple of ideas not shared publicly included better land use so that Viroqua could become food independent and green burial. A comment was made that if we had this kind of turnout at the city council meetings, we'd have a very different town. Perhaps this highlights the need for more user-friendly ways to interact with city leadership, as well as a forum in the cultural realm where open two-way dialogue can happen. If we can collaboratively develop innovative ways to channel the tremendous intelligence, vision, and creativity in this community, Viroqua could take its trailblazing history to the next level. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone online?
Just AJ.
You got it. In that case, we're looking for adjournment.
This is Crystal. I'll move that we adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
First and second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.